If you've been on the internet long enough, you've probably seen those comments about how our attention span has dropped so low that if you don't slap Subway Surfers gameplay over half the screen or throw in some terrible mobile game footage, you've basically fallen off the meta. And as much as that's said as a joke, it does hold a ton of truth to it. I mean, if I don't add a ridiculous number of edits, my YouTube analytics would probably show my viewer retention being worse than that of a 10-hour video of watching paint dry. Although I believe my fellow Gen Zers would call that absolute cinema. Ahem, where was I? Alright, attention span. Hello, my name is Wen, and today we'll be talking about our supposed deteriorating attention span. Are we merely imagining the fact that our attention span is in decline? Did the internet truly rot our brains? Are we to blame ourselves for our own quote-unquote shortcomings, or perhaps is there something more hidden beneath the surface? Without wasting more time, let's dive into it. Attention span. The length of time for which a person is able to concentrate on a particular activity or subject. If you manage to go through the definition without skipping 10 seconds ahead or holding your fat thumb against your phone screen to go twice the speed, congratulations, you have a better attention span than a goldfish. Well, supposedly. I recently stumbled across an article that highlights the declining human attention span to which we are worse off than a goldfish. After further research, I found a university study that debunks this ever so decreasing attention span, but actually reading the PDF document, I was bombarded not only by a whole lot of knowledge, but also jump scared by a goldfish PNG because my dark reader was on. Also, is that a YouTube thumbnail clickbait arrow circle combo that I see? Okay, I'm losing track of the video topic right now. Scrolling and reading the amalgam of studies and articles, I have no clue what I'm even supposed to understand anymore, which only pulled me deeper into the rabbit hole. Simply reading the green highlighted text or taking a quick Google search reveals the false truth, which stemmed from a misinterpreted graph a decade ago. Apparently, the goldfish fact was never real. Microsoft supposedly made it, but when you search for it, nothing. No official graph, no primary source, not even Microsoft's website, just articles repeating each other over and over. Truth be told, Microsoft didn't make the graph to begin with. They only released a study in 2015 that used a whole bunch of now debunked facts, but in the original document that you can access via Wayback Machine, the graph has a small footer. Source? Statistic Brain, and they didn't cite anything. That's right, Microsoft Canada ran with a random infographic, slapped their logo on it without a second glance, and the internet called it science. And it didn't help when Time, yes, the Time, jumped on the exact graph, the same global media giant that was built on a century of trust and authority. Wow. Then I was curious about how a goldfish's attention span could even be studied, and such a study or experiment never existed. At least according to this heinous piece of shit. The closest experiment I could find was one to test their memory, otherwise, nada. So that begs the question, what even is the human attention span? Is it how long we can read before drifting off? How long we can watch a short form video before swiping away? Or how long we can listen to someone yap more than necessary? The truth is, it's complicated. Of course it is. There isn't a single attention span that defines everyone. We all have different interests, motivations, and tolerances for boredom. No human is equal. With the personal remarks out of the way, let's get slightly scientific. In psychology, attention is a state in which cognitive resources are focused on certain aspects of the environment rather than on others, while the central nervous system is in a state of readiness to respond to stimuli. It's what allows us to process relevant information and filter out distractions. According to Luhmann cognitive psychology, attention is a state of focused awareness on a subset of the available sensation perception information. What? In caveman speak, that would roughly mean, man pay attention when man wants or can understand. Psychologists differentiate between types of attention depending on context, for instance when reading, watching, listening, working, etc. These are classified as sustained attention. How long can you focus on one thing? Selective attention. How well can you ignore distractions? Divided attention. How well can you multitask? Alternating attention. How well can you switch between tasks? Executive attention. How do you manage competing priorities? So when people say our attention span is shrinking, it's often a misrepresentation. Instead, one could say our attention or focus has evolved. Research shows that our attention span is context dependent. People are better at focusing when motivated or emotionally engaged, but worse when overstimulated or multitasking. But just to be clear, the aspect of attention is something way more complex than whatever I am showing here. And that isn't precisely my domain, so I'll leave it to the actual professionals to do it. I'm just here to goof around. So it's not that our attention span shrank, it's that our focus shifted elsewhere. But when someone says our attention span shrank because of the internet, they're not exactly right or wrong. We can take a quick gander into the past. When Gutenberg's printing press was invented, some were wary and fearful of what was to come, calling it an information flood. In a sense, this applies to the modern world as well. Though the story doesn't even begin from there. Plato's Phaedrus indicates that Socrates warned people that writing would cause memory problems. A conversation that took place between Socrates and Phaedrus, and for those who are not endowed with Greek history, Socrates was Plato's mentor and Phaedrus was an Athenian aristocrat. Plato wrote the Phaedrus, which consists of dialogue between his mentor and the aristocrat. Anyways, Socrates recalled a story of the Egyptian gods Thoth and Thamos. At the Egyptian city of Naucrates, there was a famous old god whose name was Thoth, and he was the inventor of many arts. His great discovery was the use of letters. During that time, a king ruled over the entirety of Egypt, Thamos, to whom Thoth showed his inventions, desiring that other Egyptians be able to use them. After explaining all of his arts, when it came to letters, Thoth said, "This will make the Egyptians wiser and give them better memories. It is a specific both for the memory and for the wit." Thamos replied, "Oh, most ingenious Thoth, the parent or inventor of an art is not always the best judge of utility or inutility of his own inventions to the users of them. And in this instance, you who are the father of letters from a paternal love of your own children have been led to attribute to them a higher quality which they cannot have. For this discovery of yours will create forgetfulness in the learner's souls, because they will not use their memories, they will trust to external written characters and not remember of themselves. The specific which you have discovered is an aid not to memory, but to reminiscence, and you give your disciples not truth, but only the semblance of truth. They will be hearers of many things that will have learned nothing. They will appear to be omniscient and will generally know nothing. They will be tiresome company, having the show of wisdom without the reality." And this is a tale which Socrates carries. So yeah, people once thought that writing would ruin human cognition. Something as important as writing itself was met with skepticism, and an integral invention such as the printing press was also met with backlash. Does that sound familiar? So the root issue lies within the accessibility to any media you want, not necessarily in the fact that we've gotten dumber. We've reached a point where consuming has been ingrained into our daily lives. Lately, it's so easy to consume any content you want. Want to watch a movie? Bam, 50 different streaming sites. Care to see a video of your favorite game? Boom, 700 creators uploading essentially the same video. Want to mindlessly fill that gap of dopamine? Booyah, every platform now offers doom scrolling. The internet has been the most fantastic companion we could have, but also the cause of our brain rot. To add on this topic while I'm at it, apparently there has been a recent study that correlates short form videos to genuine brain rot, but that isn't entirely true, because if you remember the Time article incident, a similar thing is happening here. I'll eventually make a follow-up video, so you might want to stay tuned. So maybe the problem isn't that we've lost attention. It's that attention is the most valuable thing we have, and everyone's trying to steal it. Our dopamine receptors themselves haven't gotten worse per se, it's just that the constant stimuli on the internet have shifted our perception of things. We've just adapted to a world that never stops rewarding us, and we keep wanting more. It's a never-ending cycle that we can't really escape from. At the same time, what exactly does that say about those who keep trying to steal our attention? But if you made it this far in the video, congratulations, you may have a greater attention span than a goldfish. Just saying. Now's the part where you can click off, because I'll ramble a bit with my afterword, but for those who wish to stay, thank you. Because this is my first video on this channel, if it wasn't clear by the lack of subscribers or even videos, I would greatly, wholeheartedly cherish it if you could leave a like and subscribe, as that would be a massive impact. But don't worry, I'm not gonna do this whole like and subscribe shtick every time. You can also leave a comment such as, "Remember me when you get famous," though I doubt that's happening anytime soon. What I actually want is constructive criticism. While praise and compliments are nice and all, what I want is some good old-fashioned remarks on what I could improve or do better. Or even just leave comments regarding the video topic, because frankly, I find that comment section to be more entertaining than anything else. I'm not too sure about my current demographic yet, but I know my wish is to entertain and educate people at the same time. But without taking too much of your time, I hope you enjoyed my video, and maybe I'll see you in another one, hopefully soon. Bye bye. But actually, reading the